being part of tonight's systematic duplication, but at dinner, he kind of shared a thought, and I said, man, that is so good. And he said he was planning to do it, I think, on his next turn at bat on the Trailblazer Tuesday. But instead, we decided to do it tonight because we get this rare occasion where we've got Mr. Al Franklin hanging out with us in Nashville, Tennessee, or I guess to be more accurate, Franklin, Tennessee at the moment. And so if you guys are excited to see Al tonight, put some sevens in the chat, right? Let's see some 777s in the chat. I think tonight's going to be really cool. You guys are going to be glad you're here, actually. So it's funny. Al mentioned something while we were having dinner. Which how's dinner?
Dinner was
it good?
Fabulous. We went to the Wild Ginger Chinese Asian restaurant. It was unbelievable. I mean, the sushi rolls were unreal. They're like meals. They were
like
amazing.
Did you actually think
Delicious.
Coming to Nashville would result in you having
I thought I was going to go to a barbecue place, like a Chris and Fitz barbecue place. Ended up in an Asian restaurant. It was fantastic. Good choice.
Hey, thank you for dinner, dude. Awesome stuff. So anyway, we're at dinner, and Al said, I'm excited. My next time to teach, I want to talk about drawdown. And I mean, it caught my attention. I said, okay, talk to me, man. Thinking you're probably out of the market at this point. I know I am. I was in a pretty hefty drawdown this week, actually. But it was nice to see the market kind of bounce in the proper direction. And I'm not in drawdown right now. I'm out of the market. But then Al said, no, but when you think about it, drawdown's not just something that happens in trading, right?
Right.
And so you were starting to tell me that you were thinking about this concept of drawdown and how that applies to life well beyond just the idea of trading.
Yeah, so I just asked Siri off my phone here. The definition of drawdown, according to her, is a decline in an investment or a fund, okay? So obviously, since I've been in the market since October of last year with Ryan, with Forex, my first time here, I learned a little bit about drawdown. A lot of people have experienced drawdown, and we were talking about that, Ryan, and I decided, wouldn't it be good to understand, really give a perspective, not only regarding Forex drawdown, but drawdown in life, okay? So that's kind of what we want to talk about tonight. Because let's just look at the reality here. I mean, we're in a business here. This is a business. And in any business, there's got to put time and effort into it to make it work, okay? A lot of us are doing that now. A lot of you are doing this now for you and your family. But we have a component. It's not like a health product that may not work today or may work tomorrow, may not work for the guy we share it with. But this is a little different. We're asking people to kind of take a look at a platform here where they can, if they choose to, through whatever broker, they can go ahead and put a little money in, deposit, right? And we have the tool. And if they learn and educate themselves with our tools that we have provided with for the cost of that subscription, they can go ahead and learn the art of trading if they choose to. Most don't. Even myself, I did not. I have not put a lot of time and effort into this. But I've had a little drawdown too, thank God. However, I thought it'd be good to talk about drawdown with respect to life here tonight, okay? And put things in perspective, because in the market here we're in, there's drawdown, but in anything in life there's drawdown. So what I want to do is kind of, if you allow me to here, kind of take you through some drawdowns I've had in my life. And I think maybe some of you will resonate because we're all human. We've all had challenges in our life. We've all had successes and so forth. So let me kind of just back up a while. So I was married to a beautiful lady that I fell in love with many, many years ago. Her name's Andrea. And we have a child who's now 24. And we dated, we had a great time. We traveled, we had a great time. We were with another MLM program, and thank God we were, because it allowed me and her to raise our kids like Ryan and Jolene with their kids. They had a full-time dad all the time because of this business, okay? We did very well, and I worked hard, but we were able to travel to Tahiti, to Hawaii, to Europe, to New York, and go for 2-3 weeks at a time, no problem. We had the money to do so, and we're allowed to take, it afforded us to take our kids and so forth. But I had a little drawdown about 5.5 years into it, guys. Okay, so what I mean by that is this, and unfortunately, divorce is a tough thing, right? And a lot of people have gone through it. And I like to use the analogy that, you know, for anybody that's been divorced, it's kind of a tough time. You know, it can be a very tough time, and it can be very hurtful financially too, right? Which is drawdown to me. So 5 years into my marriage, we had some problems, and it had to do with money because I started a jet business, which I'll have to talk to you about another time. Really, that was a lot of fun. But it was basically a jet business out of Orange County Airport, and I invested all my money in it, and I hawked everything I could, and I ended up losing that business with a partner. We just couldn't make it work, so we lost some money, about 150,000, which was a lot of money back then, many years ago. This is like 20 years ago, 19 years ago. And so she got upset about that and thought, well, Al, that was a big mistake. You know, we kept our house in Upland. We had a really nice house in Upland. We had a little mortgage. I think I had a suburban payment at the time. But that was it. We didn't have any other debt. But we found ourselves in about $40,000 in debt after this ordeal went down. And she thought, well, that was grounds for divorce. So whatever. So we tried to work it out. It didn't work out. But the reason I share this, is that, you know, in life, a lot of us have experienced divorce or challenges like that. And in a sense, that was a big drawdown in my life. Number one, not because of the money, but because emotionally drawdown, because I was not able to now, you know, wake up and go to sleep with my little 5-year-old Devin, who's now 24, because now I moved out and she moved on and she ended up getting married, and we're really good friends, my ex-wife and I. But the point is that was a big drawdown in my life here. And a lot of you, I think, out there might be thinking in terms of, well, think about people you know of your life, or maybe you've experienced it too, where there's been some personal drawdown like that. That's drawdown too. It hurt me financially, but more importantly, it hurt me emotionally because of that. Okay, now I rebound from that and everything's fine now, but that's just one example. Let me give you another example. And let's talk about even owning a home. I mean, most of you might own a home, or if you have, you know what it constitutes. There's a mortgage, there's insurance, there's a lot of expenses that go along with it, utilities every month, okay? Money is always being shelled out when you own a home, okay? And what happens with a home? There's always something that goes wrong. I have a home right now in Community Hills that's about 50 years old, about my age, and I'm always putting money, Ryan. I get calls in the last month. Now I've built a nice little team here the last 4 months with all 180 people in my group or whatever, somewhere around that number. And I will, to be honest, there's about 50 people that have kind of dropped out because maybe they weren't smart enough to get on the phone and make some calls and get 3 people in to get their software for free. So they opted to maybe not want to pay that $189 a month, okay? Or here's the kicker, and here's why we're talking about drawdown. I get calls from some people that I love and care about that are financially doing really well, and they open up an account with $3,000 or even $1,000, and you know they're getting their 2, 3, 4, 5% a week. All of a sudden, it drops down to 1% that week, and they call me up, Al. Oh my God, my account, it's down to 1% this week. Only 1%. I said, and the point is, that's 52% a year. And well, I was getting 3 to 5%. Now it's down to 1%. I mean, what's going on? It's not working. I said, oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Really? You lost 1% of your money? Well, it's a demo account, Al. It was a demo account. We're talking about demo accounts. It's a demo account. Awesome. And maybe some of you realize this in your own businesses. If you have any people in your group that maybe you're getting some calls about some people complaining about the software. Oh, I'm in drawdown right now. I've got less than 1, or I lost a little money last week, but they don't understand. This is all mental. It's just like the Daisy Duncan says, and which I am at fault for not basically, you know, letting people know on the onset they should really understand that it's all between the ears right here. 20% is basically the software. The other 80% is our mind here, okay? Emotional. We get emotional about a little bit drawdown, and we get all emotional about it and upset. We're thinking, oh no, it's not working. They got to look at this long term, not short term, obviously. It just cracks me up. There's people in Los Angeles, Ryan, friends of mine, that will save up money, $500 to $1,000 of extra, discretionary money or whatever, and they'll take a run out to Las Vegas, which is a 4-hour drive from LA on a Friday, with the hopes of coming back with more than what they took, right?
Yeah, sure.
What they intended on gambling. And they'll have a good time. They'll stay at a hotel, spend all that money, and they'll come back and I'll ask, hey, how was Vegas? Oh, yeah, we blew it. We blew our money. Nah, we blew it out. We had a good time though. We had fun, got drunk, whatever. We did this, went to buffets, had a good time. I mean, really, think about that. There's people that work their buns off 40 hours a week for months, will save about $500 to $1,000 to go to Vegas. I have friends of mine that do this to date. They're my age. It cracks me up. I hate gambling, but a lot of people like it, and that's fine. They go to Vegas, 4-hour drive there. They spend money in hotels. They lose $500 or $1,000. They drive back 4 hours. That's 8 hours driving time. They lost $1,000, and they're okay with that. Now, if that's not drawdown, I don't know what is. That's stupidity to me, but that's what people do out there. So with that in mind, if you're getting people calling you up complaining about drawdown, well, let's look at the bigger picture. We have to, and we've all got to get better at this in identifying, really sharing with them the understanding that this is a long-term proposition. This is not short-term. Okay, it's like Warren Buffett. Everything is long-term with him. It's become the most sought after. He's #1 in the world as far as financial genius, as far as reading the markets, understanding wealth and all that. He's become a billionaire because he just basically, it's like eating that elephant one bite at a time, just a little bit every week. And sometimes we're going to have some lows. Sometimes we're going to have drawdown, right? I mean, 1 or 2%, maybe 3%, 4%. So what? Eventually, if they stick it out long enough, it'll probably come back. It always does, So let me give you some other examples here. We talked about divorce. We talked about houses. What about automobiles? Automobiles is not an asset. It's a liability, just like a home. They're liabilities. They cost you. How many of us have purchased a car, whether it be a new car or a used car? All right, we drive it around. We got to pay registration every year on it. We've got to fuel it. We've got to spend money. If you live in Southern California, it's like, I don't know, $3.99 for Ethel, I think right now. It's crazy, Oil changes. We've got to maintain the car. And I don't know what it is, but when you buy a brand new car, right about the last payment, when you're ready to pay it off, it starts to nickel and dime you because things start to go bad with the car. Things break down. They're automobiles. That's all they are. And so to me, that's drawdown. You basically bought a tool to utilize to help you earn money in your vocation or work, right? Because you're using it. A car is nothing but a tool for transportation to take you from A to point B and back home again, hopefully safely. It's costing you money to operate that tool, okay? Well, it costs money to operate our software to the tune of maybe, if you don't want to share with anyone, $189 a month, but that's nothing compared to what traditional business expenses are, because that's potentially a write-off. So really, the government will subsidize that money. So for those that might be thinking, geez, I don't have my 3 people in, I'm paying $189 a month, and I don't know, I just don't know. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? $189 a month? That's, I think that comes out to about $6.30 a day, about the cost of a Frappuccino at Starbucks with no tip probably, right, in LA anyway. $6.30 a day is the expense for your software if you choose not to talk to anybody about it. And it's a write-off. So the government will pay back. You'll get that money back next year with your taxes. That is not drawdown at all. That's an upswing there, So we got to put things in perspective here. I'm just going on here, man, if you don't mind.
No, I love it.
But,
I'm taking some notes, actually.
Well, even with your auto, I'm thinking, the car breaks down. That's drawdown. An incident happened. I just told Ryan and Jelaine at dinner, my daughter's off for 3 months vacationing right now, and she's up in Wyoming right now. And she's got a little Mini Cooper, 2013 S Mini Cooper, really cool little car. And she actually bumped something, a tree or whatever, and the airbag went off in her face, and she got all upset about that. And she calls me up crying. I said, what happened? I got in an accident. What happened? Well, I bumped this tree or whatever, and the airbag went off and went in my face. I go, are you okay? Yeah, but all this smoke happened and all this. I go, oh my God. I thought it was a real accident. It wasn't. It was just an accident, but it was her fault. She actually hit this pole or whatever, went too far, and the mechanism activated and the airbag went off. So talking about drawdown, guess what it cost for that? $3,000 to repair that, just for the airbag and the seat component here. So I wired her the money, and she's got her car working again. But the point is, we all have drawdown in life, folks. That's the point here, okay? One other thing I'll share with you, which is an experience that I had, and Ryan knows about my experiences in business, but I started a hospice company. Most of you might have heard this in the past, with a partner several years ago. It cost $250,000 to start this company. It's called Qualcare Hospice out of San Bernardino County, and about 5 miles from where I live. And I knew nothing about the business model, but I brought in a partner who seemingly had a lot of experience. I trusted her. And so we put our money together, and we built a company from zero to about $6.5 million a year in about a 6.5 year period of time it took to do that. We employed 65 employees. For the first 3 years, folks, I couldn't draw one penny from the company because it all went back into the company. And at 3 years, I was able to pay myself $1,000 a month. And as we accumulated more patients, I was able to make more and make more. We ended up making pretty good money, high 6 figures in the end because of our K1 distribution. However, the point is that you want to hear about drawdown? We're doing really well. We're doing about $6.5 million a year. Everything's well, all right? And then we meet for our quarterly meeting, and she says, guess what, Al? We have a problem. I said, what's the problem? We are over capitation, and we have to pay back Medicare $3.2 million back. And we have to start next month, and here's the paperwork, and that translates to about $81,000 a month we have to take out of our account and pay back to Medicare. And because you own the company, Al, it's on your back, okay? It's you and I, we own the company, so we have to pay that or we're gonna go to jail. And it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? Talk about drawdown, folks, okay? Taking an income level, pretty high 6 figures I was earning, down to zero overnight. My house payment is $4,375 a month, because where I live, it's a pretty nice area. That's what my house payment is. I had a BMW payment at the time, okay? And I had 2 kids in college, one of them, which you know, Devin, private college, $30,000, $35,000 a year, easy, at a private Christian college, Azusa Pacific University. So I had, all of a sudden, I'm paying on this, all of a sudden my income went from a nice 6 figures down to zero overnight. That is called drawdown, folks, okay? And so I had to think quick. I'm like, I got to reinvent myself. I got my insurance license. I thought I'll sell insurance, but I didn't want to do that. Ryan and Jelaine gave me a call back in 2016, late 2016, 17. I got involved with you with another company. They introduced me to another company, network marketing company, and I worked very hard at building that. I didn't do as well as I'd hoped to do because it was not easy, but Ryan and Jelaine were there with me. We built a team of over 7,000 people. And that the income I made off that helped, but I had to do some other things to make income. So the point is this, folks, in life, we all have drawdown, okay? And not just in Forex, not just with our demo account, okay? If you will, a demo account. People are getting emotional over demo accounts. It kills me.
Oh, man.
So let's put things in perspective.
Yes.
If you understand what we're coming from here tonight, this was impromptu. We weren't expecting to go over this, but just like an hour and a half before we started talking about this. But the point is, anybody here want to share anything, or on the chat, or even unmute yourself, talk about drawdown in your life? We all have had drawdowns in our life, whether it be personal, whether it be through business that we've done. You know, we've all been through challenges. And so well, I guess I could say, let's put on our big boy pants, if you will, or put on our maturity hat, okay, and understand that, not get so emotionally drawn by drawdown when our account is presumably losing a little money from time to time. That is not a big deal. Really.
Yeah, well, I love what you shared tonight, and I want to piggyback a couple things, because, it's interesting, you guys, but how you respond to drawdown is a function of mindset, and we talk about that all the time. Drawdown can come in all different forms, shapes, and sizes, in and out of your trading account, right? Your drawdown could come when you were 0.1% away from achieving your weekly goal. Your drawdown could come one minute after the market opened and it started going the wrong direction. Your drawdown could come after 5 years of marriage. Your drawdown could come after a 15-year incredibly prosperous real estate career, like it did for me, and then back into a corner. But here's the thing, right? This is what I wrote down as Al was speaking tonight. When your drawdown, your drawdown financially is only a real problem. You can replace the word financially, right? You could say emotionally, relationally, okay, spiritually. You can replace this with whatever word. You guys should write this down, by the way, if you're taking notes. Your drawdown, fill in the blank. Your drawdown financially, your drawdown relationally, your drawdown spiritually is only a real problem when you're in drawdown mentally. Mindset, right? Our biggest drawdown for our family that was on my shoulders, you guys have heard it before. It came in what started in 2007, and it had manifest to its full scale in 2008. We were filing for bankruptcy, okay? And I could never imagine having that kind of drawdown being in my future in 2005 and 6, right? Kind of like in your hospital business. I mean, we were cranking. And here's the difference. Just like Al, when he faced his drawdown, just like some of you, when I faced my biggest drawdown, the only thing that was gonna change that and make it not a problem that could defeat me was my mindset. You know what I chose to decide when I was facing my biggest drawdown, and you can apply this even to the example that Al started with your 1% drawdown in your demo account, okay? The mindset for me was, I wouldn't care if it was a physical brick wall that was standing in between where I was at the time and where I knew I needed to go to properly provide for my family. I would run through that brick wall, whatever it took, even if that meant no protective gear, no mouthpiece, no helmet, no shoulder pads, no nothing. And literally, if it was a physical brick wall, I would just throw my body against it as many times as I would have had to get through it. Because mentally, I was not going to accept defeat, right? That's all drawdown is, in whatever way you want to characterize it, folks. It's a mental problem. It's nothing more, nothing less. Okay, it is simply just on the other side of some different decision making. Would you agree with that, Al?
Yep. It's not what happens to you. It's how you react. What happens to you. That's just the bottom line.
That's right. And I love that you mentioned the Daisy Duncan, you guys, because here's another thing that holds true.
Yeah.
Generally speaking in life, whether you're talking about navigating your way out of, the hospice situation you were in, whether I was navigating my way out of the real estate hole I was in, or whatever things that were in life, generally speaking, the more you learn, the more you'll earn. Meaning you can bounce back if you embrace the significance of learning more, right? Think about the Forex arena, and you mentioned the Daisy Duncan, and I love that. These people that are tweaking out on a 1% drawdown, right? If they would embrace the educational side more, they would understand how to interpret that drawdown, what it really means, that 1% isn't a big deal, that there's nothing wrong with the software. Generally speaking in life, and I love what Skip talks about. I think Skip's on here tonight, right? And I know Skip is becoming a massive fan favorite in this community for good reason. And, something that Skip has been sharing with all of us, and this will continue, which I love, right, is you have to think about the, kind of where you are where you expect to go and what is the real significance of what you're doing, right? I mean, drawdown on a trading account, like you said, right? Perspective. We've got to keep things in proper perspective. There's a lot more significance in what we're doing here than trading Forex.
I think
right?
Ryan said it not long ago where you had a good conversation. We had a lot of conversations with Stephen Vetter, our market analyst. And didn't he tell you that with his clients, he's got high-end clients that usually they're in drawdown 9 months out of 12 months or something like that out of the year.
Yeah.
And yet they're happy because in the end, they won. They're winning in the end. But 9 months drawdown in an account, and that's okay. Again, got to put things in perspective, like Ryan said.
Yeah, Skip talks about the idea of servant leadership is actually preceded by, or should be preceded by, servant lovership, right? And so again, you can apply this. The more you learn, the more you'll earn to anything, right? I love how Skip talked about recently, like even in your relationships, right? Like, so in my marriage, the more I learn, the more I'll, whatever, replace the word earn, right? But the more prosperous, the more fruitful our relationships can be, the better we learn how to serve people, right? I think, again, wherever there seems like there is, I mean, what is drawdown really, right? A lack of the result we were hoping for.
Right.
I mean, isn't that all it is, everybody? Right?
Decline.
Right? You guys, does that make sense to you guys? Yes or yes? I like Al, I would love to hear if anybody's got any feedback, any thoughts, but think about that for a minute, right? All drawdown really is in any area of your life is a lack of a result that you are hoping for. So how do you overcome that? You keep it in proper perspective. You embrace the opportunity to learn so that you can improve the outcome, right? You take responsibility and ownership for the situation that you're in, right? And then you keep it all in proper perspective that it's not the end of the world.
That's right. That's the bottom line. Yeah. I'm all for drawdown. Without drawdown, there would be no opportunity. Think about that. Without losses, there would be no opportunity, folks.
Well, in a trading context, here's what I can tell you. You're virtually never, I mean, maybe less than 1/100th of 1% of the time will you ever see a weekly goal reached without at least some drawdown, right? If we're putting it back into Forex terms, you're not going to go straight to weekly goal reached without some drawdown. Maybe when you get your hands on Haley, but that's another story for another time. No joke. But anyway, let's see. Let's try it out. I'm going to try to pull up the chat. We're doing this from my smartphone, so I apologize, you guys, because we wanted to set it up in a way where we could most effectively both be on camera. Let's see. Yeah, dinner was great. Yep, 777. Love it. Yes, Skip is amazing. I couldn't agree more. All right, cool. Well, anyone, any thoughts, anyone before we wrap this up? I'd love to hear from you, Skip. I imagine you probably have some amazing thoughts to add to this topic, but I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm happy to do it because I know you can handle it. Let's see.
Wow. I just want to say what wonderful perspective you two have brainstormed. It's definitely evident that two brains are better than one, and you two sitting there is proof positive of that.
Amen.
I'm kind of jealous. I'm not there, but next time I'll earn a spot there with you guys. But anyway, thanks for even inquiring about my perspective. You know, my whole world view has to do with perspective. Things don't change in life. It's how I receive and perceive. And as I shared, I think the other day in one of our talks we had, maybe it might have been Tuesday, the fact that drawdowns will happen in life. So don't worry about fixing the drawdowns. Focus on how the character that you have will help you navigate through it. And every drawdown is an opportunity for a better position next time. So it's all a perspective. And what you guys drove home is true. It's kind of interesting. We all kind of like to realize, me too. Okay, it's not only me. Everyone here across the board, none of us is alone in this drawdown journey. And that's what I love about this community, what you, Ryan, and Jolene are putting together, and the team coming together with Al and just this group is a reminder that it's okay, and we can see through to another day. It's okay. It hurts. It's not fun, but it's part of growth opportunity, and it's perspective. So you guys were so on point. I learned so much from you guys. What an honor and blessing to be here with you guys tonight. Al, thanks for showing up even after jet lag or whatever, all the way across town. And even though you had some good Chinese food over there, but anyway, I miss you guys, and thank you for the opportunity of sharing here.
Hey, thank
Skip.
you, Skip. Yeah, we're going to plan a retreat. Everybody knows that. And I think at some point, Nashville will have to be one of the nominees for a city, because it's a pretty neat place. I want everybody to come visit. I like the fact that Al's digging it so far. And Skip, I'm not intending to correct you at all. You said two brains are better than one. I think what you meant to say in our particular case is that two half brains are almost one. So we'll take that.
I didn't want to go there, but yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All
You
right,
guys
you
awesome.
guys, well, if anybody else has any thoughts, speak now or forever hold your peace, but don't forever hold your peace. Like Skip said, right? Hey, this is a community. The teamwork makes the dream work. So I'm kind of teasing, like, we're not going to stay on here all night. So speak now or forever hold your peace. But seriously,
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we got somebody?
I apologize for like that. This is Randy. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Randy.
Hi, Randy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, listen, I just wanted to take a moment and, if I can, introduce a good friend of mine who is now part of the business. He's here tonight on the call. He's a very serious guy. I think he's going to do very well here. His name is Roberto Tavares. And I think you guys are going to enjoy his company. I think we have a very good product on our hands, and I'm really looking forward to this. And I just wanted to say welcome to Robert and anybody else who's new here tonight.
That is awesome, Randy. Thank you for taking a moment to do that. Roberto, welcome. Among some of the other enjoyable topics of conversation at dinner was actually yourself included in that. So Al was speaking very highly of you, Roberto, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to kind of interact with you a little bit more one-on-one. Welcome to this community. I'm really grateful to have you here. And Randy, thanks for kind of going out of your way to make sure that Roberto has been introduced. That's just another reflection of how this community continues to get better and stronger with the addition of new people just like you, Randy. And it sounds like just like you, Roberto. So I'm excited to get to know you.
Hey, appreciate that, guys. You guys actually made me blush a little bit, but you know, it's all good. Definitely appreciate the invite. Yeah, Randy's been talking to me about this now for the last couple of weeks. I jumped on a few webinars with Al, and you know, quite honestly, I was committed with another company, and I literally just walked away from that company yesterday. I had the conversation with the president of the company yesterday, and let him know that I was gonna be, you know, taking a different route. And quite honestly, guys, I'm really impressed with what you guys have done here. I mean, honestly, with I'm using the bot. I know Rebecca said not to take any trades Thursday and Friday, but I kind of jumped the gun, and I have been taking trades. And quite honestly, it's probably one of the best programs that I've seen out there. I've done this for quite some time, and yeah, this is probably the best one that I've seen in the last few years. So definitely excited to be here. Appreciate it.
Well, that's
Awesome.
fabulous, Roberto. We certainly don't take lightly the decision that you just made. And again, I'll look forward to a kind of a private offline conversation. I can appreciate the steps you've taken because I walked in those exact shoes going back about 18 months and stepped out of what was a pretty substantial multi six-figure residual income that was, you know, I had amazing leaders like Al in that organization. And so if anybody ever had the real benefit of true residual income that was as close to walk away as it's ever going to be, that's where my wife and I were 18 months ago. And much like yourself, we saw the potential to make a greater impact in the lives of more people by aligning with this group that was at that point starting to put together what we now recognize as Avorio Prime. And so we made a decision very similar to the one that you just made. So I commend you. I can absolutely relate, and I'd love the chance to interact with you a little bit more. And we want to make this a great decision for you, man.
I
Ryan,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Ryan, I had Roberto go onto your calendar, and he actually has an appointment to talk to you at 11 on Monday.
Awesome.
So,
Perfect.
and yeah, I did tell him if he wanted to start a fresh account, wait till Sunday, but I had a little sneaky feeling he probably wouldn't. So, but you know, I was just trying to let him know you can start fresh on Sunday.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, if you like what you've seen with this brief little glimpse of turning on your software today, just wait till what comes out of this weekend and some of the things that have been in the works for several months now in different phases of beta testing. We're about to raise the bar substantially. So I love the fact that you're already encouraged by what you've seen, but as the old saying goes, you ain't seen nothing yet. So
Nice. Appreciate that, guys. I look forward to speaking to you on Monday.
Likewise. Awesome. Yeah, Randy, thank you again for that. Anybody else before we go ahead and sign off? And again, I can't encourage you guys strongly enough. It really is the strength of the community that makes this thing special. And so if you're ever wondering something, needing something, there are never bad questions unless they didn't get asked, right? There's no such thing as a bad question. And like Skip pointed out, right, this community is so chock full of phenomenal, just high quality, humble, genuine, servant-driven people that I would implore each of you, don't forfeit the greatest value of the fact that you're here. It's not the software, it's not the comp plan, it's not the Forex market. I promise you, you'll begin to realize this more and more and more. It is the community that is assembling here. And so although we might be signing off right now for tonight, don't let that be a sign off for you. If you've got questions of any kind, that's the very reason we're here, is to facilitate getting you whatever you need so that you can build your life by design, establish your legacy, and maximize your quality of life. So that being said, my friends, thank you for joining us tonight. God bless you all. We will be coming at you soon. Stay tuned for crazy updates as the weekend progresses. We'll share what we can as we learn it. Excited about it. And yeah, stay tuned to the airwaves because it's going to be, I think, some pretty exciting things I'm hopeful about that come out of this weekend. So with that, everybody, God bless, and we'll talk to you guys soon.